All right, so we're diving into The Wonderful Wizard of Oz today. Everyone thinks they know it, a classic children's story, right?
Right.
But you would not believe all the little details and surprises packed into those early chapters. And you sent in this book,
Hmm.
and we're going way beyond the surface today.
Absolutely.
Dorothy's first steps in Oz, those crazy first encounters, and the wonderfully strange characters she meets right from the start.
Yeah, I think what's so interesting is how the very beginning, how it sets everything up. I mean, you chose this book, and you probably have a history with this story, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to try to break down why those opening moments are so captivating.
Yeah.
Really, we'll look at how these first relationships Dorothy has
Yeah.
and the fantastical settings
Yeah.
really lay the groundwork for everything else that's going to happen in the story.
Totally. And the map for our deep dive today is L. Frank Baum's The Wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
The full text, thanks to the World Public Library.
Yes.
Their commitment to literacy is just amazing, by the way.
It is.
And we're laser focused on those first chapters, from Dorothy's wild landing in Munchkin country to her encounter with the Cowardly Lion.
Great.
So we're extracting the real nuggets here, giving you a much richer look at how Dorothy's Oz adventure starts and the wonderfully peculiar characters she finds along the way.
And these early chapters, I think, are so foundational because they really establish not just the plot, but the whole tone
Right.
and so many of the big ideas of the story.
Totally.
Like, what does Dorothy's confusion, right, when she lands in Oz, what does that tell us about this world she finds herself in?
Right.
And how do those very first friends she makes really start to shape her understanding of things like, bravery and empathy
Yeah.
and intelligence and all those really big ideas?
It all kicks off with a bang, doesn't it?
It does.
So Dorothy and Toto are in Kansas, just, doing their thing.
Right?
And then this absolutely enormous cyclone comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, a really violent and sudden storm. Like, the text really emphasizes how powerful it is. This isn't like a gentle breeze,
Yeah.
It picks up their entire house.
Yeah.
So that really throws Dorothy's ordinary life, throws it all into chaos right away.
And then there's this shock, so sudden and severe,
Right.
as the house lands, and it's nowhere near Kansas anymore. Talk about a sudden change of scenery, right?
Yeah, definitely. And then Dorothy steps out of the house, and the way it's described, so bright and sunny,
Yeah.
and the house is completely still. It's such a change
Yeah.
from that swirling chaos of the storm, right?
Yeah.
And this really highlights how otherworldly Oz is right away.
And then she's greeted by this crowd of tiny men, all in blue, and this little old woman just dazzling in white,
Yes.
covered in stars.
Yes.
And they bow to her.
I know.
It's amazing. Can you imagine that kind of welcome?
Right. And I think the way they look, the way they're described is really important. The Munchkins, all in blue,
Yeah.
and then the woman in white covered in starlight. It just gives you a really strong first impression of Oz,
Yeah.
and that they immediately bow to her.
Yeah.
That's really important for this first scene.
Yeah. So they call her a most noble sorceress,
Yes.
thanking her for, get this, killing the Wicked Witch of the East,
Oh, yeah.
who's just gone, vanished.
Yeah.
Only her silver shoes are left behind lying there on the ground.
So this part is really important. And, the book tells us that Dorothy's an innocent, harmless little girl.
Right.
The idea that she could be a sorceress, let alone kill a wicked witch, is completely ridiculous to her.
Right.
And that just shows how strange the logic of Oz really is,
Yeah.
And, it's interesting that the silver shoes are the only thing left of the witch.
Yeah.
It kind of hints that magic in Oz is really different, that there are powerful objects
Yeah.
that might have, a hidden meaning, a hidden power.
Right.
Right away, it creates a mystery.
Totally baffled at this point.
Right.
And then the little old woman, she drops another bombshell.
Oh,
She's the Witch of the North,
Uh-huh.
a good witch.
And that changes everything right away,
Oh, yeah.
because we assume witches are bad. But in Baum's world, there are good witches and bad witches, benevolent and malevolent magic, all side by side.
Yeah.
It really makes you think about Dorothy. She comes from a world where witches are probably just stories.
Right.
And now she's got to figure out this new reality.
So then she explains the whole witch situation in Oz. 4 witches total, north and south, the good ones.
Right.
East and west, the bad ones.
Exactly. And she contrasts that with Dorothy's world.
Yeah.
Witches and wizards, she says, they don't exist in what she calls civilized countries, like Kansas.
Right.
They only exist in Oz because it's uncivilized and cut off from everywhere else.
Yeah.
I think that makes you wonder, what does civilized even mean in Baum's world?
Right, yep.
Does having magic mean you're automatically uncivilized? It's subtle, but it makes the setting more interesting.
It does, yeah. So who's the real power player in Oz?
Well, it seems like it's the great Wizard Oz himself. He lives in the Emerald City, and he's supposed to be more powerful than all the witches put together.
Yeah.
He seems like the person Dorothy needs to find.
Yeah, absolutely. And those silver shoes.
Oh yeah, what about those?
Well, it turns out they belong to the Wicked Witch of the East. Now they're Dorothy's.
Ah.
And people think they might be magical, but nobody knows for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about inheriting a mysterious hand-me-down.
Right.
Right.
The silver shoes become really important right away.
Yeah.
There's this sense of, hidden magic about them. And that just adds more intrigue to Dorothy's already really strange situation.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder, will Dorothy figure out what they can do?
Yeah.
And how will that change her journey?
Right. So Dorothy understandably wants to get back to Kansas, to Aunt Em and Uncle Henry.
Of course, yeah.
Kansas seems a very long way from Oz right now.
And the Munchkins and the Witch of the North, they don't give her much hope, do they?
No.
They tell her that Oz is surrounded by huge deserts, like impossible to cross. It really emphasizes how stuck she is.
Yeah. Deserts everywhere. And the Wicked Witch of the West controlling all that territory.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No, that makes things more difficult for her.
Oh, yeah.
It shows just how isolated Oz is, how separate it is from Dorothy's world.
Yeah.
Like, it really looks like she can't get home on her own.
Right.
And then there's this Wicked Witch of the West. Immediately, something bad's going to happen.
Right. Yeah.
The stakes are raised for Dorothy.
But then the Witch of the North, she steps in with some magic, right?
Yeah.
Her cap turns into a slate.
Yeah.
And it spells out a message: let Dorothy go to the city of emeralds. Talk about direct intervention.
Like a sign,
Yeah.
Gives her a goal, something to hope for. It changes things from how do I get home
Yeah.
to I need to get to the Emerald City.
Right.
And it suggests that maybe there are forces in Oz that want to help her.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not just directions. She gets a kiss on the forehead, right on the forehead. Wow. Yeah.
And that leaves a shining mark, a magical protection.
That's going to come in handy, I bet.
Oh, yeah, you would think so.
It shows the magic of the good witches,
Yeah.
A real contrast to the bad witch that, Dorothy's already kind of met.
Right, yeah.
It's a blessing, something to help her.
So then she points Dorothy to the yellow brick road, can't miss it apparently,
Yeah.
leads right to the Emerald City, and poof, she's gone. Just like that. Vanishes.
I know.
Toto was not happy about that, by the way.
Real?
Not happy at all.
I bet. Well, the yellow brick road, it's like the main symbol of her quest now.
Yeah,
A clear path to where she needs to go.
yeah.
And Toto's reaction, I think it's funny.
Oh.
It reminds us that all this is really strange,
Yeah.
even for a dog.
So they set off, Dorothy and Toto, down the yellow brick road. And Munchkin country, it's actually pretty nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, blue fences everywhere, fields full of crops. Those Munchkins, they know how to farm. They do. It's a big change from the grayness of Kansas.
Yeah.
All those colors, the successful farms, it means that the Munchkins are doing well
Right.
and that they've benefited from the Wicked Witch of the East being gone,
Right.
All that blue everywhere, the fences, the clothes, it could mean peace.
Yeah.
Now that the witch is gone, it's really different from Kansas, showing Oz as lively, even if it's a little weird.
Yeah. And everywhere she goes, the Munchkins bow to her, thanking her for getting rid of the witch. She's a celebrity.
She is.
Yeah. They even have unique houses, round with bright blue domed roofs. Blue is definitely the in color in this part of Oz.
It shows you how different the Munchkins are,
Yeah.
Color's important to them.
Yeah.
It makes Oz feel like a real place,
Yeah.
even if it's fantastical.
Yeah. And then Dorothy gets invited to stay with a rich Munchkin named Buck. They're having this huge party to celebrate their freedom.
That's a much better first night in Oz than being caught in the cyclone, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It shows how much Dorothy's arrival has helped them. Bach being nice to her is like their way of saying thank you.
Yeah, and Bach is fascinated by the silver shoes and the white of her dress. He calls her a friendly witch. It's like your clothes determine who you are in Oz.
It's true. It shows how clothes and colors have meaning in Oz. Dorothy just happens to be wearing them, but now everyone sees her a certain way.
Right. But even with the party going on, Bach gives her a warning.
Oh.
Yeah, he says the journey to the Emerald City won't be easy. Rough and dangerous places ahead.
I bet. That's not something you want to hear, right?
No,
It's
never.
like a reality check.
Yeah.
Reminding her that Oz isn't all fun and games.
Mm,
There are dangers beyond Munchkin country.
yeah. So, miles down the yellow brick road, Dorothy needs a break.
Uh-huh.
She stops by a cornfield, and who does she see?
Ooh.
A scarecrow on a pole.
Oh, classic.
Right. That
Yeah.
seems pretty normal, right?
Yeah. You know, a scarecrow in a cornfield? That's a familiar sight.
Yeah.
But Baum adds something strange to it. It's not your average scarecrow.
Yeah, because the scarecrow winks, and then he nods. Dorothy's like,
Oh.
what? Scarecrows don't do that in Kansas.
I bet. You know, that wink and the nod, that's what makes him more than just a thing. You know,
Yeah.
it's the first hint that he's alive, that he has a personality.
And then he starts talking.
Really?
Yeah, complaining about not having brains and saying he wants to go to the Emerald City to ask Oz for some.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The scarecrow wants intelligence, you know?
Yeah.
And that's his main goal in the story. And it kind of brings up this idea of not having something you think you need.
Right.
Like, he's insecure about his head being full of straw. I think we can all relate to that. Wanting to be better, being afraid of not being good enough.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So Dorothy, being Dorothy, invites him along.
Of course she does, yeah.
She figures Oz can probably spare a brain or two. Toto is not convinced, though.
Right.
Not buying this whole talking scarecrow thing. Can't really blame him.
Yeah, I understand that. But, you know, Dorothy, she's so kind. She's ready to help anyone, especially someone in need.
Right.
And Toto's a little more cautious, you know, a little more realistic.
Yeah, definitely. So the scarecrow, he reveals his biggest fear.
Oh, yeah. What is it?
Not crows, not falling off his pole,
Okay.
a lighted match.
Wow, that's ironic.
Right. You'd think being made of straw, he'd be a little more fire averse.
You would, yeah. I think it makes him more relatable, though,
Yeah.
even though he's this fantastical being.
So then the yellow brick road, it starts getting a little rough, living up to that warning that Bach gave her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, less yellow, less brick, more bumpy and uneven.
Oh, no.
Not ideal for walking, let me tell you.
Yeah, it shows how the journey's getting harder.
Yeah.
They're leaving the nice, safe Munchkin lands
Yeah.
and going into wilder, more dangerous places.
Right. And the scarecrow, he just keeps walking straight into those holes in the road.
Oh, no.
Doesn't bother him too much being full of straw. Dorothy keeps having to help him out.
I bet. You know, the Scarecrow's really tough
Yeah.
because he's stuffed with straw. It's kind of funny, right?
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
he's supposed to be smart, but he keeps falling into holes.
Right, right. And the countryside, it starts feeling more empty, fewer houses, farther apart. Definitely not the happy Munchkin vibe anymore.
It reflects how they're going deeper into Oz.
Yeah.
Things are getting more uncertain, more dangerous.
And then the scarecrow mentions he never eats.
Oh, yeah.
Makes sense, right.
It does. I mean, he's got a painted mouth.
Yeah.
And if he had a real one, he'd lose all his straw.
Yeah, exactly.
It really shows how different he is from Dorothy and Toto.
Right.
They have to eat, they have to sleep. They remind us of the normal world Dorothy's left behind.
Yeah. And then Dorothy starts talking about Kansas, how gray everything was.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Makes you wonder if she misses it, you know?
Yeah, I wonder if she misses the place itself or the people.
Yeah.
It shows this contrast between Kansas, which is boring but familiar,
Yeah.
and Oz, which is amazing and strange.
Right. Yeah. And then they walk into this massive forest, so thick it's almost completely dark.
Oh, no.
Not somewhere you want to be lost in.
No, not at all. You know, the dark forest, it represents the unknown.
Yeah.
Like, there are hidden dangers there.
Right.
It's a classic fairy tale thing.
Yeah.
They're going to face new challenges there.
Yeah.
And maybe discover things about themselves.
And the scarecrow, ever the optimist, he says the yellow brick road has to lead out of the forest eventually.
Does he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He figures the Emerald City is their goal. They just have to keep going.
That's pretty straightforward thinking.
Yeah.
Maybe not best plan, but it keeps them moving forward.
Right.
It shows how much he trusts that road, you know.
Yeah.
The yellow brick road is his guide.
So they're stumbling around in the dark, but Toto, he can see just fine.
Good for Toto.
Yeah, and the scarecrow, he claims he can see too.
Does he really?
So Dorothy, she just holds onto his arm and hopes for the best.
It's a good thing they have each other, right?
Oh, yeah.
They all have their strengths and weaknesses, but they rely on each other,
Yeah.
even though they're all a little strange.
Right, right. So finally, they come across this little log cottage. Dorothy, she's exhausted, falls asleep right away on a bed of dried leaves.
I bet.
The scarecrow, he doesn't need to sleep, so he stands guard in the corner.
Yeah.
Quite the considerate travel buddy.
Yeah. It's interesting,
Yeah.
Dorothy has to sleep, the Scarecrow doesn't. It shows how different they are.
Right.
And the cottage, it's a safe place for them, even if it's only temporary.
Right, right. Morning comes, birds are singing, Toto's chasing squirrels. But Dorothy, she needs water,
Of course, yeah.
to wash and drink.
Yeah.
She's been eating dry bread. Even in Oz, you got to take care of yourself.
It's true. It reminds us that she's still human,
Yeah.
even in this crazy world.
And the Scarecrow, he's still trying to figure out humans.
Is he?
Oh, yeah. He's like, it must be so inconvenient to need sleep and food and stuff. But then he's like, at least you have brains, always looking on the bright side.
He is. He doesn't have a physical body, so he doesn't get tired or hungry.
Yeah.
But he wishes he was smart. It's funny because Dorothy wishes she was back in Kansas, even if it's boring.
Right, right. So they find a spring. Dorothy drinks her fill, but their bread is running low.
No.
Good thing the Scarecrow doesn't eat.
Yeah, that's helpful. It shows how hard it can be to survive, even in a magical land.
Yeah, definitely. Just as they're about to head back to the yellow brick road, they hear this really deep groan.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
Not a happy Munchkin sound, that's for sure.
No. It makes you wonder what they're going to find,
Yeah.
Something new, something strange. Keeps you guessing.
So they follow the groans deeper into the trees, and there he is.
Ooh.
The Tin Woodman. All made of tin, standing perfectly still, holding an axe.
Oh, wow.
Rusted solid. Apparently he's been groaning for over a year. Nobody could hear him.
Oh, that's sad. It makes you feel sorry for him,
Yeah.
Stuck there, unable to move or speak. It shows how much he needs help.
And he needs oil, badly, to get his joints moving again. Luckily, there's an oil can in his cottage nearby.
Oh, good.
Dorothy, she volunteers to get it right away.
Of course she does. That's Dorothy.
Yeah.
She's so caring, always ready to help.
First things first, they oil his neck so he can finally speak. Imagine not talking for a year.
I can't. It's like giving him his voice back,
Yeah.
allowing him to connect with others again. It's like bringing him back to life.
And then he tells them how he ended up like this.
How?
It's a wild story. He was a real person once, flesh and blood, but a wicked witch cursed him.
Wow.
He lost his heart, and then he accidentally chopped off his own limbs, one by one, replacing them with tin.
Oz is a strange place,
It is.
full of these dark transformations.
Right. And now, what he wants most is a heart from Oz, so he can go back and marry the Munchkin girl he loved.
That's so sad. It's all because of the curse.
Yeah.
And it makes you think about the darker side of magic in Oz.
Right. The Scarecrow, though, he's still all about getting brains.
Of course.
He's like brains over heart any day.
That's interesting, because the Scarecrow wants brains
Yeah.
and the Tin Woodman wants a heart.
Mm.
It makes you think, which is more
Yeah.
important.
Right.
Your mind or your feelings.
Uh-huh.
I think the story is going to explore that idea more.
Yeah, definitely. So the Tin Woodman joins them. Now they're a real crew heading to the Emerald City to see Oz.
The more the merrier, right?
Yeah, especially with all the dangers out there.
Exactly. And, they're all missing something,
Yeah,
but they're all going to the same place, hoping Oz can help them.
right, yeah. The Tin Woodman, though, he's super careful with that oil can.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's terrified of resting again if it rains.
I understand that.
Yeah,
He looks tough, all made of metal,
yeah,
but he's still vulnerable.
right. And his axe, it comes in handy right away.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He clears a path through the thickest parts of the forest, makes it much easier for everyone.
It's good they have him, right? Oh, yeah.
He's not just there for his feelings.
Right. And the Scarecrow, still having some directional issues, he keeps stumbling into holes.
Oh, Scarecrow.
Good thing he's stuffed with straw.
Yeah.
Doesn't really feel a thing.
It's funny,
Yeah, it is.
He wants to be smart, but he's still clumsy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they come to this huge ditch, impossible to walk around. Looks like their journey's not over yet.
No kidding. What do they do?
Well, then the Cowardly Lion makes his entrance. He just leaps across the ditch, no problem.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Carrying the Scarecrow and Dorothy, even Toto.
Wow. That's impressive.
Oh, yeah.
But he's called the Cowardly Lion.
Well, that's where things get interesting.
Okay.
So they hear these weird noises, and the lion, he starts shaking with fear.
Really? What is it?
Kalidas, these terrifying beasts, bodies of bears, heads of tigers,
Oh, wow.
and the lion is petrified.
So he's not so brave after all.
Not really, no.
It's interesting. At first, he seems really strong.
Yeah.
But then You see, he's actually scared. Yeah, yeah. And then they come to another gulf, even bigger this time.
Oh, no.
No leaping this time.
So what do?
The Tin Woodman, he chalks down a tree, makes a bridge.
Oh, smart.
Yeah, teamwork and a sharp axe, they get things done.
Yeah, they have to work together to get past these
Well,
obstacles.
but then, as they're crossing the bridge,
Yeah.
the Kalitas attack.
Oh, no.
2 of them.
That's bad.
Yeah. But the Scarecrow, he thinks fast.
Does he?
Oh, yeah. He tells the Tin Woodman to chop down the tree in the middle.
Wow.
The Kalitas fall into the gulf, and, well, that's the end of that.
Not bad for a scarecrow who thinks he has no brains, huh?
Right.
It
Yeah.
shows that he can be smart when he needs to be.
Yeah. So they're pretty shaken up, ready to get out of that forest.
I bet.
And then, of course, they reach a big, fast river.
Oh, no.
Just when you think they're out of the woods, literally.
Like one thing after another.
Yeah. The Tin Woodman, he starts building a raft right away.
I'm surprised he's not worried about rusting.
You would think, right?
Yeah.
But I guess getting out of there is more important.
It shows how determined he is to keep going.
Yeah. But then the current, it sweeps their raft downstream away from the yellow brick road.
Oh, no.
And to make things worse, the Scarecrow's pole gets stuck in the mud in the middle of the river.
That's not good.
No. He shouts goodbye as they drift away.
Oh, no.
Yeah, poor Scarecrow. The Tin Woodman, he starts to cry, but then remembers he'll rust.
Oh, right.
So he dries his tears on Dorothy's apron.
Practical, even when he's sad.
So Dorothy, Toto, the Tin Woodman, and the lion, they finally reach the bank. Pretty bummed about losing the Scarecrow.
I bet. It shows that they're really friends now.
Yeah. And then, as luck would have it, there's a stork just hanging out by the river.
Wow, what are the chances?
Right. She offers to help rescue the Scarecrow.
Oh, that's lucky.
Right.
It shows how connected everything in Oz is.
Yeah.
You never know where help might come from.
So the stork swoops down, picks up the Scarecrow, brings him back to his friends. Everyone's so relieved.
A happy reunion.
Oh, yeah. The Scarecrow, he's so happy. He's singing as they walk. Told the radio.
It's good they're all together again.
Right. So next on their adventure, a field of poppies. Beautiful poppies.
This is nice.
But deadly. Their scent makes you fall asleep, and you might never wake up.
Oh, no. It's a different kind of danger now.
Yeah.
Not something that attacks them, but something that tricks them.
Right. And the lion, he's the biggest, so he's most affected.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah. The Scarecrow, though, he has an idea.
Does he?
He tells the lion to run ahead while he and the Tin Woodman carry Dorothy, and he uses his own straw to protect her and Toto from the scent.
Wow, that's smart. He's thinking ahead.
Yeah, and he's really looking out for his friends.
Yeah.
They get through most of the field, but then they find the lion.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he's fast asleep among the poppies,
Mm,
and he's way too heavy to carry.
that's a problem. They can't leave him there.
And then Dorothy remembers
Whoa.
the silver whistle the Queen of the Field Mice gave her.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
It's like, remember when she was kind to the mice?
Yeah,
Now they can help her. It's a reminder that being kind is important.
right. So she blows the whistle, and thousands of mice appear, their queen leading them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Talk about a loyal following.
It shows how powerful even small creatures can be when they work together.
Yeah. The mice agree to pull